Jumping out the sky, 40,000 now, only for tonight, 'cause I love when we fly. Running for my life, I just jumped out the sky. I'm free falling, to be honest, I feel so alive. I've been trapped up inside, now I'm all taking flight. I hope I can hold on this moment for life. And no, if I go, I might be losing control. Better hold on to what I know. If I don't, will you stand by me, or will I have to jump all alone? No parachute, it's just me and you. I just need to know if you see it through as we're falling out the sky, yeah. Jumping out the sky, 40,000 now, on a paradise, 'cause I love when we fly. The sun just hit you right, 100 Fahrenheit, and only for the night we can jump out the sky, out the sky, out the sky, out the sky, yeah, yeah. Out the sky, out the sky, out the sky, yeah, yeah. I just need to know. Can you tell me, can you tell me? I just need to know if you see it through.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Excited to have you here on the Betting News Network. My name is Sweatpants Jesus. That's Vsauce. That is Just Sook. Excited to have you guys here for some saucy Sundays right here on the channel. And yes, Sean Beasy, that was a brand new song from our dog Owen River. I thought I played this one before, but I guess not. Have you guys heard this one?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
Goats are
muted.
so muted. Very
Beautiful
muted.
Sunday. Goats are muted.
And still
And I
muted.
muted the wrong button as I did that.
Hey,
Yep.
there we go.
It's a Sunday. It's officially the All Sauce team. We're so
It's
back.
official. We're so back. We are so back. Yeah, that's Jump Out the Sky from our friend Owen River. As always, go check him out on Instagram. Appreciate him sharing us with the vibes. Padge tuning in from X as well. Let's go, Padge. Padge is tuning in from X and from Twitch. What a goat. Oh, and look who's here too. We got Chef in the house as well.
Jeffrey.
Let's go. Absolutely. Appreciate you guys stopping by to kick off your Sunday. Hope you guys are having a fantastic end to your holiday weekend and you had a fantastic time celebrating 4th of July. We talked about it a little bit on Espresso yesterday, but Sauceman wasn't with us for most of the show yesterday, so we can say it to him. Appreciate you guys being here. If you're watching us on YouTube, if you're watching us on Twitch, if you're watching us on X, wherever you guys are giving us a watch, we appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out. If you're watching us on bettingnews.com, thanks for being here. Wherever you guys are tuning in, appreciate the vibes. Boys, happy Sunday. We didn't really get a chance to gab backstage because Sook literally came in as the intro started playing, chat. And B and I literally gabbed for 30 seconds before we started. So, boys, we can do this live instead of how we do backstage. How we doing? Ready to rock?
Doing fantastic. Sook's had a week. It's been lovely to see that on the timeline. Sook, how you feeling?
Ready to rock is a stretch.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And
You're
also,
here.
Alec, happy birthday. Twinsies. Thank you, my brother. Happy birthday to you too, man.
Is it Alex's birthday today?
Today,
Is it your
yes.
birthday today? Oh,
July 6th.
shit. Let's go,
Mhm.
Sean Beasy. Let's go, big dog. That's what we like. Well done, sir. Congrats. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for being born. Thanks for being a part of the community. Big vibes all around. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Like I said, we're going to have some fun today for Saucy Sundays. We've got the WNBA, 3 games to talk about. One of them tipping off here in the next 45 minutes. I've got a few plays that I like in that Liberty Storm game. Baseball for the Sunday vibes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably another 1-on-1 day. That's what yesterday was. Once again, it's becoming just honestly like an exercise in futility. But you know what? I ain't gonna stop because there's so many days left till the football season starts. So I need something
60.
to get me through. 60. And
60
the WNBA
days.
is way too sporadic, man. Like 3 days off at random times. That's hard for me to do.
Yeah. V likes to be a degenerate, Chad, if you didn't know. He wants buttons to press every single day.
Chad, there's a reason that none of my bets come with the unit size or anything like that. Because if y'all did what I did, y'all wouldn't come back to our show. So
you get the good analysis in the write-ups on betting news. So that's the important part. You at least know that it's all backed with research and that he's not just throwing darts at the board. But as we know with baseball betting, because it is a long season, hey man, sometimes it is like throwing darts at a board.
Yeah, man, we're betting on guys that are hitting 267. That's 26%. Like we're betting on something to happen that happens 26% of the time, and we're looking at like, holy shit, this guy hits at 28% of the time. That's fucking
Whoa.
amazing. And those are
He's
fucking
batting
angels.
330%. Oh my god.
Yeah, like this is what we're betting on. And then we make it seem like, oh yeah, why aren't we hitting all the time? It's because this is not like an 8 out of 9 or a 9 out of 10 trend. This is somebody that's batting 26.5%. So yeah. Sorry, that's my baseball rant.
Welcome to baseball betting. And after that, he's going to give us some plays for you guys, probably. Couple pieces of news. I'm going to let Sook just kind of settle in. So we're not going to, I won't throw anything else at Sook right now. We are running the Ducks today, though, big dog. I'm just kidding. He would have left. Couple things. So first of all, shout out Mid-Major Matt. I don't know how I did this. My friend Mid-Major Matt posted a picture at a bar last night with like 100 different options of whiskey that he said. And he was like, if anybody can guess what I ordered, then I'll drop the Venmo. And I mean, he's a man of taste, and I like this particular whiskey. It's Lafroig. It's a like Scottish whiskey. And I was like, well, there's Lafroig up there. That's really banging neat. So I bet you did that, but I'm probably wrong. And I don't know how I did it, but I got it right. So instead of him Venmoing me, because, you know, I don't need $25 from Matt, what he's going to do is he's going to tail our parlay today for $25. And if that parlay smacks, it will go. I'm going to do it 75% of the winnings will go into the Twitch channel, and then 25% of the winnings will go to one of you guys in the chat. So we are going to run the Ducks today. So I put it at the very end of the show. So you got plenty of time to get ready. One of you guys in the chat is going to win something from Mid-Major if we smack our parlay today. So shout out Mid-Major Matt for the support, obviously. And all one of you beauties in the chat will pick up something. The second thing I wanted to talk about was, I think you guys saw this last night, but I don't know if you want to watch the video. This dude, you've probably seen him on the timeline before. And I don't usually engage with this type of content because it's just horse shit and it's just brain rot at the highest extent in the gambling space. But this guy, I think his name's Alex. I honestly don't even know. But I know he has a lot of followers. I think he's used to work for ESPN, and like he has a very big platform in the sports betting space. And I don't like retweeting this type of content because that is what the algorithm is designed for. Even if it's slop, like it's going to get churned, right? Mm-hmm. But I had to, because this guy was basically, obviously the numbers must be down for him, because he decided that posting a video about explaining that he was like, I'm going to gamble and try to pay my bills with gambling. And he like gambled like $250 or something on blackjack to pay for his $300 fucking meal with his wife. Like W Flex 2, bro. Good job. But like he had to chase after he missed the first bet. So he chased and doubled down for another $250. So he's $500 in the hole. He won the second hand. So he ended up, cashing out for $1,000 or something. Right. And, woohoo. Nice. Good job. Way to go. You made some money. Now, chat, you guys probably know this because you guys are with us all the time, consistent viewers and stuff like that. But maybe somebody, if you're watching for the very first time, and I posted all my thoughts on the timeline, and hopefully some people saw this, but please, dear God, do not fucking bet like that. We've all had degenerate moments where we've like doubled down and maybe chased late night or something like that. And there's a lot of joking that goes on in this space about betting, right? Like, I'm just going to chase. I'll throw the house on it, put the mortgage on it, and stuff like that. And that's all in fun and games, which is great. And I think that people understand that because you guys know what's going on. But for people that are new, and there's so many people that are getting involved in this space and that are new, they might be doing that. They might be actually looking at this as legitimate sports betting information and legitimate things that you can apply to your gambling life. And this is how gambling addictions happen. This is how people get in really bad debt. This is how people don't understand the way to bet responsibly. So I implore all of you to unfollow those types of accounts. First of all, don't engage with it regardless. I don't think a lot of you guys do because you guys are goats, but like, don't do that, man. Like, it's not fun. It's not cool. It's not fun. It's not easy content. Like, hey, Mid-Major, what's up, dude? There he is. Goated. I already told him did you actually legit order Lafroig, or were you just fucking with me on the timeline? I think he actually did. But yeah, I don't have to rant on it anymore. That guy's a bozo. Please don't bet like that. Don't ever bet like that. There are people that actually, and if you ever have a problem sports betting, or if you have a problem gambling as a whole, a lot of you guys have actually come out and told us that you do, but you tune into the content because you like hanging out with us and talking sports, which is awesome. But like, there are people that do, and they feel like ashamed to talk about it sometimes. And I mean, I can speak for myself. I've had to go through, especially when I first started sports betting, like I had to change my mentality and like lower my unit size because A, it was stressing me out too much. And B, I was losing money, and I didn't want that to be my experience betting on sports. So I had to adjust my mindset, because when I first got involved in this space, I saw guys nuking shit, and I thought, oh, well, that's easy. I can just put $100 on this parlay, and I'll make $1,500, and then I'm good. And you don't understand the ramifications of what that looks like. So I just hope you guys understand that it's okay to talk about these things out in the open. That type of content fucking sucks, and don't engage with it. And I hope that you guys continue to learn through this process, and it's okay to put $5 on stuff. Like, that's not a problem. You don't have to flex your $250 fucking meal ticket and then go and put $250 on a blackjack hand. If you have that as disposable income, congratulations. Good job. Never bet what you can't afford to lose. And please don't flex it on the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not for that kind of content. It was super duper whack in the first place. And second of all, like this, it's not like in any other job. Let's just say, let's just not even say that how whack this idea is. Let's just talk about the logistics of it. Any other job that you have, you earn the money before you spend it. That's how you do that smartly. You don't go out to dinner, spend $300, then lose a hand of blackjack, and then proceed to double down. Because if you are truly trying to earn money to live with, you shouldn't have had that money in the first place. You don't have the money for a double down most of the time. So don't use these kinds of rules. And I will say this kind of content is scarier for people who are like down bad, in a sense. You're hitting a little bit of a losing streak. Maybe you need to walk away from the table, in a sense. And those are the kind of situations where you see somebody like this and you're like, oh, it's pretty fucking easy. Like, no, it's really fucking not. Especially these online casinos, they're not meant for you guys to win. All the people that sit there in their cars that we're going to sit on a hand of blackjack and like do this, or we're going to do that, do not think that those are like actual things you can replicate and then make money off consistently. Because if you could, people would have been doing it for hundreds of years. I promise you, gambling is not something that's new and like this new shiny toy for everyone to make money on. It's existed for a fucking millennia, and it's going to endure, and people are going to consistently lose money doing it. So don't look at this like it's the most lucrative thing you can be doing.
Oh,
no. Oh, you got booted again.
That's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
Oh man. Well, everything he said, obviously, amen to that. And again, chat, you guys know this. We don't have to belabor this point much further because you guys understand what is this situation. But it's important to talk about because we have a lot of new people that join the show quite often. Maybe this is your first time watching the content, and like, again, everybody, we're all guys. We shoot the shit. We talk about nuking stuff and putting this degenerate parlay and all that type of stuff, and that's fun. And you should be able to sit around the water hole with your homies and talk about that type of stuff. But that type of content to me just has no place in this space, in my opinion. And I can't get behind it. So I hope that what I had to say was beneficial to some of you guys. Obviously, we try to implore you here at Betting News, and everything that we support and everything that we represent as a company, and obviously all of us individually, is responsible gambling and enjoying the fun. And as somebody said in the chat, like, betting is supposed to be, the sweat's fun. We all joke about it, right? But like, you should never be legitimately stressed out about your wagers hitting. Like, there should never be that particular point. If you want to get to that particular level, then you need to unit size correctly. You need to put out a bankroll. You need to only bet 1% of that bankroll. And you need to monitor your units, and you need to that's how you're going to make money in the long term. And then that's how you can properly stress it out, because then you can up your unit size to $100, $150, $200, $1,000, whatever kind of unit you want to get to, because then you can make some real money in the long term if you stick to that. But a lot of you guys, most of you guys in here, you have jobs. You like sports, you like the vibes, you want to put a couple bucks on a parlay, you want to put a couple things on some, with some specific units on stuff, and you want to have some fun. That's great. And that's what this is supposed to be. And don't go running into like, oh, fuck, I'm down, I need to pay my rent. Like, let me put it on a couple hands of blackjack.
The only time you should be stressing about gambling is on your last leg. That's it. Just on the last leg.
100%. Anyway, we don't have to keep talking about it, but somebody mentioned it in the chat, and I did comment about it last night. So, Suk, you got any thoughts? Or are you still putting your brain together?
Oh, still putting the pieces together, Humpty Dumpty over here, but it's very, very, very weird. The gambling space is always strange, and we always see very weird posts, but it's just like over here, we always try to keep it level-headed, and it's just like we gamble for fun. Like you said, you only gamble what you're willing to lose. And I think that's the fun way to do it. And sometimes when you see this type of content, it's just super toxic, and it's hard to get away from, hard to react to. But it is what it is. We'll just avoid it.
Yeah. But I think it's important to talk about it. And now we're in the summer. Like, obviously, we're going to talk about the bets in just a minute. But, like, it's important to always kind of circle back to this point because, there's a lot of new people joining. And honestly, it's good for us as a reminder, too, just to remember, like, hey, it's okay. It's all good. Just you don't have to stress out about it. And we can keep it rolling. So, yeah. So, we love you guys. We really appreciate you guys tuning into our content. We hope that everything that we say to you guys on the daily does help you out, especially in your betting journey. We have a lot of information for you guys available at bettingnews.com. We actually do work with some of those casinos as well, but we do it in a way that is responsible for you guys and obviously explaining. We have reviews for a lot of them as well at Betting News. So it's just all laid out exactly how you can work and you can play on those specific places if you want to go get involved with some of that. Because, again, I love a good game of blackjack. I love poker. I love roulette. I like that type of stuff. And some of you guys probably do too. Maybe you want to do it on your computer at home responsibly, as always. But there's a way to do it responsibly. And don't go putting $500 double down on that shit. So, all right. That's on our new shirt, B. I'll make that one just for you. Make that one just for you. Is Kev here? Kev, just as a reminder, you did win last show or 2 shows ago when we did a giveaway. So if you are here, just please DM us. We're not going to chase you down any further to give you free stuff. So if you want to get involved, send me a DM and we'll get you sorted out. Otherwise, it will go in the wind and we'll figure it out later. But okay, boys, let's start it off. I'm going to just say my quick 2 bets for the first game of the day, and then we'll jump in and we're going to talk about the NBA offseason a little bit, chat, kind of some more free agency news. We're going to give our 3 favorite kind of sleepers right now. Obviously on YouTube, you can go check out our video of us giving our 3 winners and 3 losers of the NBA offseason so far. Today, we're going to give you guys 3 kind of sleeper teams that we feel like are kind of getting maybe not forgotten, but we really like what they've done in the offseason. Not enough to be like big winners, but could be frisky next year. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to dive into the rest of the slate today. Maybe talk about some summer league if Sook can get to the point where his brain's together by then. And then we'll put together a parlay to send you guys off into the rest of your Sunday. But all right, boys, first 2 bets from me. This game could be the game of the day in the WNBA. It's at noon. You got the Seattle Storm taking on the New York Liberty. Liberty finally put it together last game after a little bit of a slide. Sabrina Ionescu finally put the ball in the bucket. Had a better game after having really poor shooting performances for 3 in a row. Storm coming to town. These teams just played each other about 10 days ago, and it was a really good game. The Storm won at home 89-79 on the 22nd of June. Lots of props to be had in this game. I think it's going to be a good game. 4.5-point spread towards the Liberty. Both of these teams are looking to compete to kind of stick with the Lynx at the top of the WNBA right now. And stick with also the Fever, who have been playing really well over the last 4 or 5 games. But I've got 2 props for you guys. Like I said, there's a lot. I posted a little parlay on the timeline if you guys want to go tail that. It's a little bit of a lotto, but all of those plays I really like a bit as well. First one, going with Sabrina, but I'm not going with her points. I'm taking her RA at 9.5. Obviously, you can take her PRA if you feel like that she's going to continue back in the scoring direction like we saw from her last game. But this 9.5 line at -105 has already moved to -118. This is just too low. She's hit this in 4 of her last 6 games. She just is coming off a 6 rebound and 6 assist performance in that win, like I said, against the Sparks. But she's hit this in back-to-back games against Seattle. She had a really good game, like I said. She has not played this team. She was out when they played last, so this will be her first time against Seattle. Back-to-back games, though, last season, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, and then 8 assists and 6 rebounds, soaring over this 9.5 rebounds and assist line. With no Jonquel Jones in the lineup again, there's an extra onus on this Liberty team to rebound the basketball. They're the 2nd worst rebounding team in the WNBA without Jones out there. So that's obviously falls on Brianna Stewart to do that down low. But Sabrina Ionescu, Natasha Howard, those ladies at the guard position definitely have to hit the glass as well against the Storm, who are a very big team as well. So they're going to have to help them on the glass. So I love Ionescu's 9.5 RA, like the PRA too, if you want to rope in the points. Second play, Sook, close your ears because you cannot get on the right side of this girl. So I don't know how you're going to feel about me pitching it to you. But Gabby Williams has been fantastic for this team all season long. I'm taking her PRA over 22.5. Now, you can take her RA if you want. It was a little too juice for me when I was looking at betting this earlier at 9.5. It's -140. If that's not too much juice for you, that's my favorite look for her. But I really like the PRA. She has been scoring the basketball really well. Skylar Diggins is the main ball handler for this team, but there will be possessions where they kind of play Gabby can totally run the one. And if they get into kind of more of a transition period where they're trying to kind of move and like push with pace, Gabby Williams is usually the one that's doing that. I really like the 22.5 PRA. She's hit this in back-to-back games against the Liberty one last season, and she also had 10 assists, 6 boards, and 12 points in that game on the 22nd, like I said, in Seattle. And she's hit this line in 3 of her last 5 games outright, too. I really like Gabby Williams over 22.5. I like the RA a lot, too. I think both of these ladies have an opportunity today. But as I said, Skylar Diggins points, great spot today. She's had really good games against the Liberty previously. I really like Brianna Stewart's RA as well. She's been rebounding really well with Jones out of the lineup. She had 7 assists when they played last game as well. And Nneka Agumeke is also in a good spot today too. Her PR was something that I was looking at too. She had 20 and 23 and 7 the last time these teams played. Her points is at a pretty low number as well. So I think there's some prime spots to get us started in the early afternoon here. Probably won't include any of these in our parlay today because these games, again, this game starts in half an hour. But I really like both of those plays. If you want to get involved with the little lay I posted on the timeline, you can go check that out as well. Did you guys have any
Yes.
You got to play in this game too?
I have a third leg if you want to make this little morning game to a little SGP.
Ooh,
To be honest, we've got Skylar Diggins over 1.5 threes, boys. No surprise here. Plus 100. This is a line. She's hitting 7 of her last 10 games on the road this season. She has upped her 3-point percentage to 51%, despite shooting more threes on the road. Like you said, SPD, this is a team that she has performed well against. This is a team that in her last 2 games, she's taken 7+3 attempts. She's hit 3 or more in both games. And this is a New York Liberty team that is not only missing their best rebounder and has been very kind of lax on the offensive glass, but this is a team that ranks 10th in 3-pointers allowed, that ranks 7th in 3-point percentage allowed, and 10th in threes allowed to guards. This feels like a perfect spot for this Storm team to kind of come in and show everybody that, hey, we are serious. And the fact that I think that this Liberty team has been so bad on the glass is really the reason that they have lost 4 of the last 5 games. It's also one of the reasons that without their starting center, they're 4-4 this season, with all 4 wins being against Chicago and the Valkyrie, and then last night against the Sparks, the bottom half of the league, outside of maybe the Valkyrie now, but one of the newest franchises in all of sports. This feels like a spot where the Liberty have been a little bit like sliding. The Storm look real, and a spot where Skylar Diggins is going to come in on the road in New York and kind of just play lights out. So over 1.5 threes for plus 100. I couldn't pass that up.
Let's go.
I love it. All right. Well, then we just are going to put together a little SGP that you guys can sweat out for this game. This is not going to get posted anywhere. This will just be for you guys if you want to tail, because it'll get started right as we're kind of finishing off the show. So we're going to go Skylar Diggins, 2 threes, Sabrina Ionescu over 9.5 RA, Gabby Williams over 9.5 RA. And then do you guys want to roll with Brianna Stewart, or do you guys want to roll with Nneka as the 4th leg?
Nneka.
So with 3 Storm players and a Liberty, or do we make it a 5-legger?
Just throw in plus 5 for the Storm as well. Fuck it. No, I'm kidding. 4 legs is good, I think. 4 legs is good.
I mean, as Embiid said in the chat, third leg. All right now. All right, Diggins 2 threes, Ionescu 9.5 RA, Gabby Williams 9.5 RA, and Nneka over 24.5 PR plus 784.
Beautiful.
There you go, chat. If you'd like to tail, that is just your little SGP to get the vibes moving. I didn't know V was going to be on a play in this game, and there we go. That's out. You don't have any plays, do you, Suk?
I do not.
Okay. You like Nneka. So that was it.
Always.
Okay. All right. I've got that locked in. If you'd like to tail, like I said, feel free to do so. That will get not posted anywhere, but it'll go everywhere if it smacks as per usual. Cool. Should be a good game, though. I'm excited to watch probably the second half after we get out of here and go check out. Should be a fun one. As you mentioned, both of these teams have been fun to watch and play this season, and should be a good one to start us off. So, okay. 2 more games in the WNBA. We'll save that for a little bit. Let's have some fun talking about the NBA, and then we'll jump in. The other 2 games are a little bit higher spreads. Don't really know what's going to happen in those. Inzi did write about the Aces and the Sun game. If you want to go peep the scribbles on what he had to say about that one, I've got a play I really love in that game, but a lot of the lines haven't dropped yet for it. So maybe by the time the show is closer to finishing, we'll have some more info on that one. But let's start off with talking about the biggest sleepers. So what we're going to do, chat, give us your favorites. Obviously, you can pick a team that we maybe either talked about before, but in the chat, in the comments, wherever you're watching us right now, give us who your favorite free agency biggest sleeper is, a team that you feel like that maybe is not getting talked about enough, moves that you really liked that are not on, like, in the ilk of the Rockets and the teams that everybody's kind of fallen in love with, depending on. But let us know what you guys think in the chat. Do either of you boys have it? I have a thought. I've got one obviously loaded in the chamber, but I want to, if you guys are ready to go, we can pass it off to one of you guys first. Okay, go ahead.
No, you
Sal.
let SBJ. Sorry, you start us off. Yeah.
You want me to go first? Okay. All right. So mine, I feel like that this is going to be one of those takes that's either going to get me in a lot of trouble or I'll look really, really smart in like 6 months. This could be my New York Nets over win total moment, or it could be my Tennessee Titans over 5.5 win total moment. No in between. But I really like what the Washington Wizards have done. The Wizards, obviously, last season, we liked betting on this team because of Alex Sarr, Koulibaly, Bub Carrington, etc. Very young team, developing. But you bring in CJ McCollum. You bring in, obviously, you re-sign Chris Middleton. Marcus Smart is somebody who can give you championship pedigree. But look who else they brought in. You got Cam Whitmore, who we all loved in Houston, who never really got a proper opportunity, who's still 20 years old. Obviously, also grew up as a fan of the Washington Wizards. Got Keyshawn George, who we love betting on to finish off the season. He's got a lot of places to develop. You bring in Kelly Olynyk, who we all love as a great veteran piece who can probably help them a lot in the locker room also in the way he practices and kind of developing some of these younger players. I love what this team has done. Now, are they probably still going to be bad next year? Probably. But will they be a lot friskier? Will they be somebody that we're looking up and going, huh? Maybe the Wizards are going to win 25 to 30 games this year, or maybe more. I think this team is doing a good job of getting to the point where they put together a good, solid young core that they can build off of. They've got some veterans in there that can kind of lead them, kind of guide the ship to this particular point. And who knows? Maybe they're going to surprise some teams next year. We all have been desperate for this team to be good for like 4 or 5 years. We've obviously had moments where we've bet on them in particular areas. You're not even seeing Tristan Vucevic on this graphic. He's also somebody else that I think that could be a beneficial piece to this team moving forward. I'm not telling you guys that I think the Washington Wizards are going to compete for a championship at whatsoever. But based on what we're seeing and what we've seen last season with this team and the development pieces that they have, I think they have a good opportunity to be a really good team next year and maybe surprise some people. So my biggest sleeper so far, one of the surprises that I was kind of like, yeah, all right, I can get behind this. Washington, D.C., baby, the district. Let's see what goes on in D.C. this year. It's going to be fun.
I like this team too. I think Cam Whitmore, they said it with the Rockets. And I kind of had this feeling when they made this trade. I was wondering, I was like 2 second-round picks. Yeah, he's not worth, I'd say, a first rounder, but you just kind of maybe think, what could you get in return? Maybe a different positional player. But they said it. They were like, we wanted to send him to somewhere where we think he could thrive and it's best for him. This is a place he grew up. He grew up in D.C., watching games with his dad, going to games. So this is really, like Sook said, very much a full circle moment for the young guard. And it's exciting to see him in a system where he won't be kind of hindered by anybody else. And not, I guess, hindered, but he won't be really behind anybody else or lost in the rotation. Sook, what do you have to say? I know you put everybody in the community on Cam. So what do you think?
I think very much so. We'll see a leap from Koulibaly and Sarr, and Cam will be very much a part of that too. This is a very interesting team to see, and I'm excited that SPJ had them as his sleeper because they have like dudes that could turn into rangy all-stars, all defensive guys, while also having scores. Adding in Cam Whitmore, replacing in Jordan Poole, is a very interesting layer because there's so many shots to be had when you -1 and add the other. So I we've talked about this so much, but like Cam has been waiting for this amount of usage, this amount of shots. So it'll be very exciting to see, fun to bet on, and we're gonna see some Cam Whitmore dunks because he impresses always.
So Cam Whitmore, I saw a graphic someone posted when he played like 25 plus minutes, which didn't happen very often last year. It was a very small sample size, but he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and a couple of assists and a couple 3-pointers in that limited time, seeing quote unquote starter or like specific actual minutes in a game. I think it's also interesting too that he's coming to a team now with maybe the best shooting guard help veterans that can kind of guide him in this particular portion of his career. You got CJ McCollum, really good ball handler, great shooter, and obviously is a scorer, right? Like he can get you a bucket whenever you need a bucket, regardless of how you feel about CJ McCollum. And Chris Middleton, championship pedigree, also a bucket getter, great mid-range, can get you a bucket whenever needed, but also has that veteran leadership too. I think both of those guys at the shooting guard position for somebody like so young that has a lot of talent, because he didn't really have that in Houston. Like there was never we've talked about this. They didn't have a scorer. That's why they got KD, but they didn't really have anybody else on that roster that was going to help him develop as a bona fide like scorer. And I think maybe him coming here, you got two guys that they can score, and like he can go and learn from those guys, and also just go out and hoop and just play, which is going to be his biggest benefit as well. So I like what the Wizards have done. We all kind of like this team last year. And like you said, Suk, I mean, all that guys on that graphic are 23 or younger, except for Middleton and like the veterans. Like all those younger dudes, like Cam Whitmore's 20. How old is Koulibaly? Like 21? Is he even 21 yet? Like these guys are so SAR's like 20, I think, as well, or 21.
Yep.
Like these guys are so young, so much untapped potential. They're getting a chance to also play together as well, which we know the chemistry building. So, yeah, I like this team. It's going to be fun to bet on them next year. We'll see if it ends up turning into W's or not. But I think they're building something fun down in DC.
I think it will be. They're kind of a team where the ownership likes to compete. They would be very comfortable in that Chicago Bulls spot of competing, being in the play-in. So Washington, definitely a team to look out for. And we're not very far removed from the Washington teams that were always competing with LeBron.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we remember those days.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the John Wall, Bradley Beal days, the like head-to-head. It was fantastic. Everybody remembers that 3-point shot that LeBron hit from the corner, where John Wall's like, "You tell me you practice that shit? Come on!" No, he does practice that shit. That's why it goes in. That's why.
That's why. Yeah.
But
go ahead.
We're done talking about the Wizards. I've got a sleeper team, not probably as much of a sleeper as the Wizards. So please don't come for me. But it's the San Antonio Spurs. I think that this Spurs team looks fantastic for this upcoming season. You got 3 young kids, Stephon Castle, Victor Wembanyama, and then they just drafted Dylan Harper. Not to mention the guy that they got at 18. He's another like 3-and-D type of player, an Aaron Gordon type of player, and I think that this roster is looking really good moving forward. Not to mention you have De'Aaron Fox in this lineup. You still retain guys like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson coming off of the bench. And the coaching in the front office has talked about it. This is a team where your best player is an anomaly, right? Victor Wembanyama pulls up from 3. He puts it on the ground. He takes you off the dribble. There's not a single thing he can't do on a basketball court, right? So why are you going to build your roster in a typical fashion? Some other people might look at this roster, think that's very crowded in the guard position. You got Harper, you got Castle, you got Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell. And not to say they won't make some moves to maybe get some other depth pieces, but I think a guy like Luke Cornett coming up and giving them a valuable 18 to 19 minutes off of the bench, there's a reason they just paid him $41 million. And I think after the veteran leadership that CP3 left with them last season, heading into a new season with a brand new head coach, it looks like they're going in a direction where we're just going to put the best players on the court. If everybody can do everything, that's not a bad thing. It feels like they're doing something different, something we haven't seen, and it's very, very interesting and a lot of fun to me. Being, like I said, Victor Wembanyama just being a straight-up anomaly. So you constructing a roster with the old school kind of like school of thought, it's not really going to work here, right? Or you have an opportunity to evolve the game. It's like when Steph came into the league and Mark Jackson opened up his offense. I know everybody looks at Steve Kerr, but it was Mark that allowed him to take these shots, that allowed him to get crazy like this, that allowed Steph to really kind of thrive. And I'm excited to see that this Spurs team is kind of heading in that same direction, not so much with the 3-point shooting, but in constructing their roster around their best player, who is just nothing we've ever seen before. So I'm very excited to see what the Spurs team looks like next year, especially in hopefully a year that Wembanyama stays completely healthy all year.
I think, yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. They have so many pieces. It's just going to depend upon how they gel together. I mean, that starting lineup of Fox, Castle, Wemby, Harper probably, and then Barnes, I guess, or I don't know, throw in whatever other player you want to put in that 4 spot. But like you said, I mean, Wemby can play the point if you need. If you want to have Fox as your off-ball guard, if you want to have Castle as your like smaller 3, if you want to go 5 out, if you want to put Wemby in the block and then have if you want to play big and bring Cornet in, and you go Cornet and you go Wemby on a double big lineup too, like that's a problem. You got two massive 7-footers to deal with. I think this team, as we've talked, I mean, the West is so stacked, but if this team puts it all together, they could compete with the Rockets. They can compete with the Thunder. They can compete with the top 3 or 4 teams in this league or in this the conference. And like you said, if Wemby can stay healthy, I mean, we could see Wemby start to flirt with some MVP conversations this season. If this team can win 60 to 65 games and put it all together, that's going to mean that Wemby is playing like an MVP. He's still young, so maybe we aren't there yet, but that's the trajectory. That's what Sook's been saying since this guy got drafted, that this is somebody that should be a world-changing MVP style caliber player, and he's 100%. Still got so much untapped potential. So I think it's a great, hit all the nail on the head of all these pieces, and it's just going to be if they all gel, because if they gel, look out, man.
So what do you think about the Spurs?
I worry about a little bit of a logjam at the guard spot. Not enough minutes to go around for everybody, so that does worry me a little bit. And I think they're exciting, but I personally thought they should have moved the Dylan Harper pick and tried to get a center, but obviously the center market was very weak. But yeah, the Spurs are an exciting team. It's like SPJ said, it's going to be interesting to see how they deploy all these guys. It's almost become a question of embarrassment of riches. They're going to have so many assets. They got to get all these minutes for guys. And I think the interesting thing for the Spurs is like what happens to a guy like Keldon Johnson. Like, are you the odd man out? Yeah, 100%.
I think
like what's happening with those guys, right?
Keldon Johnson's been like, they've been trying to get him off the floor, so they might have an excuse now.
Dude, I love betting that guy, and he just never. All right, I agree with you, but it's not a bad problem to have, especially with what we've talked about with the transition in the NBA right now to prioritizing depth. Right, you want to have your 8th, 9th, 10th player on your bench to be a quality starting player for any other team. If you can get to that particular point, like we've talked about with the Thunder, Aaron Wiggins. You know, these guys coming off the bench could be starters for 50% of the NBA, but they're on a great team and they can just get you a win and get you championships. That's how this works. So an embarrassment of riches is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do think that what we could see now between now and the start of the season, or maybe even in season, if things start to play out really well, as Gerald said in the chat, maybe Harper is the home run. Then you can think about, do we move De'Aaron Fox for some pieces? Then we can put Vassell and Keldon Johnson.
Doesn't that worry you from the standpoint of like, they've just acquired Fox and he might already be replaceable or movable?
Well, yeah, you gotta guess, but like Harper's still a rookie, so he could also just not be good, and like that's fine. And then De'Aaron Fox can just go be your guy. Like that's the going into it mentality of you have this player who is a superstar quality player, but then you draft a guy who could be incredible, and if he plans out, then you have the problem of dealing with, oh darn, I have so many good players. What do I do? Like, that's not a bad problem to have. I
feel like when they made that Fox trade, they weren't expecting to fall into the 2nd overall pick in this year's draft either. You know what I mean? Wemby got hurt. They lost a bunch more games. They were trying to compete maybe a little bit last year. They weren't thinking maybe top 2 pick, maybe a top 5 or top 10. But top 2 pick, everybody was kind of surprised that we see Dallas and San Antonio. And I think, honestly, that's why I'm so excited for the Southwest Division of basketball. Boys, Texas basketball is fucking back. Houston is stacked. Dallas is stacked. And now we're looking at a San Antonio team with the pieces to be a contender for the years to come. It's going to be really interesting, this entire Southwest Division. The Grizzlies are kind of retooling right now. We'll see what direction they go in. But I don't know. It's going to be a fun time to be a Texas basketball fan this upcoming year.
Well, that's a perfect lob to me because my sleeper is the Grizzlies. I just think that they kind of moved on from Desmond Bane because they knew that they had other guys coming in. They had other guys developing. Vince Williams Jr. is very good. Zach Edey is very good. Santi was extended. And they also have Jalen Wells. And now they signed Ty Jerome. Scottie Pippen Jr. has been very good. I think very low-key, this Grizzlies team is going to make a little bit of noise in the West. I'm not talking top 4 seed. I'm just saying, as a sleeper, they're definitely going to make the playoffs. John Morant will hit another level. I'm sure KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, will also want to remind people why he's considered a 3-and-D threat in the NBA. So My sleeper is definitely the Grizzlies. I think that they're going to slip into the playoffs or the play-in. I don't think they're going to be gangbusters in any sense of the word, but they still have John Morant.
Yeah. Let's gab about this a little bit. I'm looking at the starting lineup right now for the Grizzlies. So you got Morant at the 1 as we sit right now. KCP at the 2 with Jerome as his backup. You got Pippen as Morant's backup. Jalen Wells, like you said, we all kind of forgot about him, and we were talking about this yesterday with how good he was until he had that weird fall and breaking his wrist and stuff. Santi, Gigi Jackson's coming back this year after getting hurt last year. He's still super young, a very talented player. And then you got Jock Landale and Brandon Clark as your centers. So not great center depth, but I'm sure they're maybe going to do some more changing around, maybe with another move in the chamber. But do you think they move? We've talked about this. But what's your thoughts on Ja? I think maybe they could. V and I talked about this earlier, that maybe they could be a little bit more inclined to move him. But do you think that he sticks around in Memphis and they roll with Ja and JJJ as their cornerstones?
I think that Memphis kind of knows that franchise cornerstones are hard to come by. You're not always going to get that second overall pick where it works out. John Morant, despite what's going on in his career, he is still an elite level talent, superstar level talent. I really do believe that Memphis hangs on to him, and it's simply for the reason, as a small market team, you can't mess around. You're not going to replace this guy. You're not going to land a big free agent. I know a few years ago it was really weird. We talked about LaMarcus Aldridge landing in San Antonio. Those moves don't happen. Superstars do not go to small market teams. So a John Morant drafted right here in Memphis, I think that they're going to hang on to him as long as they can, and literally until it's a mess, because what haven't they been through with Ja? You know what I mean? It's like they've hit all the headlines, they've had all the scandals, and they've lived through it. I think moving on from Desmond Bain was the show that Ja is the guy.
That's an interesting point too, so because guys don't want to go to small markets, and especially through free agency, when you have that choice to make, nobody's looking at Memphis, nobody's looking at Oklahoma City, nobody's looking at these teams, and it's honestly, it's not the best for these teams. But if you've gone through, you've ridden out the gun stuff, you've ridden out his suspension, his injuries, and stuff like that. Do you really sell on him now? Right?
It really does become like the sunken cost fallacy of
Mhm.
like, you dealt with all his bullshit. Now you might as well reap the rewards. But I think that's what's happening of like, dude, we stood by this guy and now we're going to stand by him continuously.
I think that you can say that until you got to get to the point where you got to put some ink to paper. Because as Chad is saying, and we've talked about this, Ja is one bad injury or one other suspension away from being not a player that you can sign to a long-term extension, because we all like Ja. We all think he is a dynamic talent, but he's not an incredible shooter. So he does have He does have parts of his game that are not a detriment. Whereas his athleticism and stuff like that make up for that in a lot of situations, and also just his dominance from a ball handling perspective and what he brings in that aspect of things. But like, to give somebody a supermax extension, the likes of what we've seen with, Jason Tatum and SGA and stuff like that. Like, you need guys who you can rely on to play you 65 to 70 games and get you to a championship.
Now he's only played 65 games once in his career, SPJ.
Do we think that Ja is the type of, because I mean, at this point, we just saw JJJ get a max extension. They probably are willing to give him a max extension. But if you're the general manager of the Grizzlies, with what's in front of you right now, with what you know about Ja right now, are you feeling good about wanting to sign this guy to a max extension?
Not feeling good, but maybe forced. Maybe forced.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what the options are, right? Like, you can't. So that's why I think, and we talked about this to start off, and I think you're right, Sook, that they do keep him and he ends up staying. And if he has a fantastic year this year, then we'll all look, you'll look smart and maybe I'll look stupid. But I think that you should trade him while he has while he has value. Because if he gets hurt one more time and if he doesn't play 65 games this year, or if he has some other boneheaded thing that happens and he gets suspended again, his value is in the tank, dude. Whereas now people still view him, like all of us up here and people watching the NBA still view him as a viable franchise piece. So why not buy high, and go, okay, we've got enough depth. I think that it's one of those situations where you go highest bidder, get draft picks, get a couple players back in return, And then maybe you have to eat your crow if he ends up turning into a top 5 guard over the next 4 or 5 seasons in the NBA. But with what we have seen so far from Ja in his career, I don't see that necessarily panning out, and he's going to get that money. So I don't know. I think I would trade him if I had
I'll make the
option.
argument that I don't think his value is as high as it could be right now.
Yeah,
I think that right now, after the way that they kind of fizzled out last year, they haven't put a winning squad on the floor. He hasn't had a season where he's played 65 games in a long, long time. I feel like his value right now is in the toilet, even to the point where you might not have to sign him for max money. As wild as that sounds for a guy like Ja with the
he's got 2 years left on his deal. He's fine.
Exactly. So you've got some time to figure this out. Let him build value, see what you can put on the floor. You just signed JJJ to a max contract. If after a year you're like, this isn't going to work, you could ship them both out. Somebody's going to take JJ for sure. And Ja, I don't know. But I don't think you can build around just one of these guys. I think you either need both or you sell the farm and look towards the future.
I think I agree with that aspect of things. We could see Ja have a really great bounce back season, and then you could think about shopping him, because then you got, like you said, 1 more year on that deal left. Then you got to really think about the extension aspect of things, or do you want to trade him for max value at that point to somebody who's willing to pay him the bag, and then you get something in return, or you're feeling good about the fact that maybe he is the guy, and you just rock and roll and give him the extension and you rock with it. But I feel like, can we all agree that this season, because as you said, so they brought in some nice pieces to compete in that stacked Western Conference. This season is like the tipping point for Ja Morant's career. I feel like if Ja Morant is going to be a player we end up talking about 15 years down the road in the NBA, like this season, he's going to have to be a superstar player, right? You guys agree with that?
Yeah. He definitely does have to remind everyone why he was in the conversation for being the next face of the league. Like, before all the troubles, there was a lot of people that wanted to anoint him and put him in a spot, compared him to Derrick Rose, blah, blah, blah. The incredible athleticism, the marketability, but like 100% agree, SPJ. Like, this year, it's what I talked about. He's only played over 65 games once in his career, only awards eligible once in his career now with the new rules. So, Ja, if you want to be one of those guys, those top echelon guys, you're going to have to put it on the table this year, because you've had a lot of adversity, you've had a lot of drama, and now has come the time where, like, they moved guys out of your way and you've been in and out of the lineup, and it's I still think the Grizz will be very good this year, and I think Ja will spearhead that.
100%. All right. Well, there's some sleepers from us, for you guys. A couple of teams, maybe some you were expecting us to talk about, maybe some you were not expecting us to talk about. But as I said, drop who your sleepers are. I think Chewy said the Nuggets to start this off. We talked about the Nuggies some. We all really like what the Nuggets have done. Some other ones got dropped in the chat too. Drop us who you think your biggest sleeper is so far from what you've seen in the NBA offseason, and let us know what you guys think as a team that could surprise some people next year. All right, boys. Any other news in the NBA we want to talk about before we jump into some bets tonight or today? We didn't really. You mentioned the KCP thing. That guy's a bozo. Until proven otherwise, that guy's a complete and total bozo. But I'm sure you guys saw the video floating on the timeline of him saying that Tyrese Halliburton and Donovan Mitchell are not superstars in the NBA. And respectfully, KCP, like, just go play some basketball, big dog.
Dude, I get it. Halliburton, everybody's having the conversation, which I think is stupid. He's a superstar. If you put asses in seats, superstar. But to fucking say Donovan Mitchell, a guy who has been in the postseason multiple times with 2 different franchises, come on, KCP, shut the fuck up. That's it.
I literally was like, what are we doing? Why are we saying, especially after the season you had last year in Orlando, like, you should not be talking big dog. You should probably go be shooting some hoops, my man.
Rough season for KCP.
Yeah, there's one thing I've learned from the podcast space now with these NBA players, and I'm not saying NBA players should not be doing podcasts. Some of them are fantastic. Shout out Club 520. That shit is hilarious. But a lot of these NBA players, whether old heads or current players, they are so narcissistic in how they view their own play. Like, their stats don't matter. Like, none of these matters. If they don't play well, they don't get the numbers. It's politics. If they do, then I don't know. It's just, dude, we don't need to hear the excuses. We don't need to hear the bullshit. You know what I mean? You have a podcast. Let's talk hoops, not the same shit Stephen A is doing. Come on.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I saw a really funny TikTok about this particular thing of some guy, just some, I don't know, some random guy being like, it was like the caption was like, prior NBA players trying to like tell you how good they were when they played. And the guy's like, oh yeah, man. I mean, I might have only averaged like 5 points and a rebound and an assist, but like I was better than Kobe. Kobe even said it to me that I was better than Kobe, but the stats don't show it. So I can't really prove it to you guys, but Kobe said it to me. Rest in peace, Kobe. But he'll never prove it. But I was better than him. Yeah, sure. I only averaged 5 points a game, but I was better than those guys, and I know exactly what I'm talking about.
Did you just see the video of Paul Pierce saying he was like better than everybody?
Dude,
I'm convinced he's trolling everyone. I'm convinced. He's like MJ. I don't know.
He better be.
I got a better post game. KD. I don't know. KD's gonna got it. But it's me. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. He probably does think it in his own head. He probably does. Paul's hilarious.
You can think it in your own head, but you can't go and say that on the timeline, dude. Like, or you just are completely trolling if it is a master troll job. But good.
Hope he's trolling.
Yeah. I feel like it may be, but it's hilarious.
Do we have Paul, we did put together a little four-legger for the game that's starting here in the next 10 minutes in the WNBA. My two favorite plays, unfortunately not plus money, but if you want to rock and roll with Sabrina RA or Gabby Williams PRA, V's about to give you some plays on the diamond in a second too, so stick around. But there's a couple plays that start here in the next 10 minutes or so.
Also drop Diggins in chat. That is plus money.
Oh, Diggins, sorry.
Baseball. So not baseball if you don't want that shit.
It's not plus money anymore, dude. It's like minus 120. But
whoa, that's
whoa. I know. Yeah. So Diggins over 2 threes as well. If you want to sweat that out too, Paulie. There's a few for the vibes. Cool. Yeah, he just rocked with you with Skylar. There you go. 2 threes. Bing bong. Just 2 bangs from Skylar, please and thank you. Okay. All right, guys. So, Sauce Man, any other NBA news you want to talk about? Anything else? Do we want to gab briefly about the Summer League yesterday? I know there's some games today. I don't think we've labbed it too much on what we want to talk about. But before we jump into some other WNBA and MLB plays, do you want to stick with the NBA and Summer League? What we saw yesterday?
So, do you want to gush a little about VJ?
Incredible athlete. We saw his effort and intensity. We kind of talked about this after the draft, that he lived without a generator for 7 years and kind of really carved out his NBA career from a harsh place. We saw him get a double-double yesterday. Today we got 2 games. We got Lakers and the Heat, Spurs and the Warriors. I think those are both very good games. We could see Dylan Harper have a very good game. We could also see Kelly Ware for the Heat have another good game. But Summer League is fun, boys. We already saw very, very exciting games yesterday. And VJ, like V said, like, I am very impressed by him. I do think that 3rd overall pick was a masterstroke. You just take the best overall player available. And VJ really, really, really reminds me of Dwayne Wade.
I was going to say flowers to you because you said that yesterday and somebody posted it on the timeline that they were like VJ in 4 years and it was a picture of D Wade. I was like, yeah, guy's smooth with it, man. Really good. Ace Bailey had a little bit of a tough showing yesterday for the Jazz. He did not play as well, but he's a rookie. You can't bake anything into these Summer League games. Like VJ Edgecombe, with a double-double, you can't go, oh, he's going to be rookie of the year now. Could he? Sure. But then you also can't do it on the other side of like, oh, Ace Bailey's going to be a bust. Like, oh my God, like one game in Summer League. Like, relax.
I'm weirdly a big Ace guy. From watching the tape, he's got a lot of skills. He's not shy with shooting the basketball. I think he could be fun in the NBA.
Also, shout out to you too. You know who had a game for the Jazz yesterday in their Summer League game? Who played?
Kyle. I know.
Filipowski. You're not gonna get lines for a lot of these plays, Chad, unfortunately, because it's Summer League. But Sook was smart with it yesterday. There's a lot of guys who we liked betting on last year who are still young players, like Kelly Ware, Filipowski. I mean, Larson played for the Heat for most of the game yesterday. Guys who are going to be contributors / could be big players for their teams this year, and they're going to be playing quite a bit in the first couple, especially this week of Summer League as we get into the beginning starts of it. So if you can find some action that you like out there, nothing more that we have necessarily today, but it should be fun. We'll maybe have some more plays for you guys when we have the next Sauce team to rock and roll with you guys for some NBA Summer League action. Okay. Sauce just muted himself, so I don't know if he wants to talk MLB now or not. He's also got that locked in face. So his face turns into I'm either locking in parlays or I got asked some questions and I need to answer them.
I was adding a banner. Didn't want anyone to hear the clickety clack of my fingertips, but let's just jump right into it. Baseball. We're going back to one of my favorite parks in the MLB. It's only going to be here for 1 year from the looks of it, but Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, the temporary ballpark for the Oakland A's, Sacramento Athletics, Las Vegas Athletics. I don't know. Either way,
that team.
They have been fun to bet on. They have been fun to bet against. And today we are going to one of their young hitters, Nick Kurtz. Boys, 2+ bases, plus 130. This guy has been fantastic for the team this year against right-handed pitchers. Kurtz is hitting 268 with 12 home runs. At home this year, 292. And what I like most about this is at home, he has hit this line in 8 of his last 10 games. He is facing off with the bottom of the rotation in this Giants lineup. They're getting Hayden Birdsong, who's not too bad, but he's not really that great. He's a young right-handed pitcher. He's struggled against lefties this year, allowing lefties to hit 278 with 6 of the 9 home runs he's given up coming against left-handed bats. Kurtz has thrived against righties this year. He's thrived at home, and I think once again, batting probably in the 3rd or 4th spot, no lineup out yet. He's in for another big night. I think the home run is 100% on the table as well. He's got 3 in his last 10 home games. You're getting a price at plus 365, a little bit lower than normal. It feels like books are kind of indicating to us that, hey, man, this kid right here might see one go over the fence. So give me Nick Kurtz, 2+ bases and the home run for plus 365.
Let's go.
Bing, bing, bong, bang. Let's go. Anything else on the diamond? Or is that
That's
all you're
it. We're going to try to go 1-0 today instead of 1-1. That's the new strategy. I'm not adding a bet. I'm subtracting a bet.
Hey, man. That's fun. All right. So Nick Kurtz for the bases. Is that what you want to have in the parlay?
Yes. Yeah.
That was very confident of you.
It was because I like Skylar a lot, but I just realized like it's starting right this second.
Literally right now. Yeah. Let's see. So we got Kurtz for 2 bases. Nice way to get us started. Okay. WNBA. I'll jump into my other plays today. Now, I need to check this before we get started on this because the Sun play the Aces. As I said, NZ wrote about this game. You guys can go peep his scribbles at bettingnews.com to see his thoughts on this one. Big spread in this game. Sun are I would say, the worst team in the WNBA right now. They are, as sometimes will text us in our group and say, is this team even real? Are they a real basketball team? Because they are very good at getting blown the fuck out. Tina Charles is fun. I think she's and the Aces obviously also still really struggle down low in the paint. Now, chat, hear me out because this is not an official bet, and I feel like we all can get behind this. But when they drop lines for Anissa Morrow, it's going to happen probably later this afternoon. This game's at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central. Chat, listen, Anissa Morrow, take her PR, take her PRA, take her points, whatever the line is. That is the vibe for what we're looking at for Anissa Morrow. Back-to-back double-doubles, 20 and 16, 11 boards in both games. She has been great for this team. They're finally letting her play. They're not dropping the lines right now for a reason. You can sprinkle the double-double. It's probably going to be very hefty value if you would like, but really like this play. Really like, especially with the fact of how much the Aces struggled down low. Asia is one of the best players in the WNBA. She's a great defender, but they get banged up on the glass. They get banged up down low. I'm expecting a bounce back game from the Aces because all 3 guards were atrocious in their last game. Asia was incredible in their last game. The guards, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, and Jewel Lloyd played like absolute ass cheeks in their last game, even to the point where their coach, who I can see her face right now, but I can't remember her name, but called them out and said, we just got to make more shots. Like we literally just have to be better offensively because they were truly terrible. So great bounce back spot for this team against a team that likes to get scored on a lot. So I could see one of those 3 guards going off today. Now, don't ask me which one is going to be because I don't know. But I could see one of them having a bounce back game. And I think Asia should probably play well too. But Anissa Morrow, that's the move when it comes out. When it drops later, please bet on Anissa Morrow, and I'll drop that on the timeline. But that's my only thoughts on this game. Did you guys have anything you wanted to say about this one? V, you got any thoughts on a side or anything like that here?
I want to ask you about Jewel Lloyd's 3-point prop over 1.5 minus 110. The Sun team is garbage on the perimeter. I've faded them before, 11th in 3-point percentage allowed, 9th in threes allowed. They've struggled against guards, and Jewel Lloyd is shooting 41% from beyond the arc, which is, I mean, by any standard of any league, absolutely fantastic. Her 5.2 attempts per game is sitting second amongst the team, despite the fact that she's not playing like top 3 minutes on this Aces team, right? I know she does play like top 5, but she's not like a person that is going to be seeing the most volume, still taking a lot of threes, hitting a lot of threes. And against a Connecticut team who has been really fucking bad, Aces need a statement win. Their guard play has been really kind of atrocious. Feels like a spot where Jewel Lloyd could maybe, get a couple threes going early in this one. What do you think about that?
I like it a lot. She's also hit 3+ 3-pointers in 4 straight games against Connecticut, 2 of those being this season, 2 of them being last year. 6 threes she hit against this team when they played on the 20th of May, and then 3 when they played just 10 days ago on the 25th of June. And the attempts are there, as you said. Also, 7 straight guards have hit this line against this Connecticut team. So I like it. She's very inconsistent. But this is definitely a good bounce back spot, especially after going 0 for last game, like we just kind of talked about.
0 for 1. Yeah, I was going to say the volume, and they got beat down by Indiana, right? You need your best players to play well. You can see here, too, in wins, she's shooting 47% from beyond the arc. They are somebody they lean on when they are winning basketball games. And I think maybe her inconsistency has been a reason why they've got 9 losses in the year, outside of the AJ injury and, it being a new roster. But she could definitely be better.
I mean, plus 260, what I'm looking at for 3 threes is a great plus money play. Because like you said, she's hit this in 4 straight games, 3+ against this team. So, yeah, great value on – I like the 2. Like you said, though, great, just nice and easy. Back-to-back possessions, maybe she hits it in the first half. So, yeah. Okay, let's move to the last game. This one's also probably – I don't know. We'll see here. We'll talk about this one. The Lynx just played yesterday, coming off a nice win against the Valkyries. So they're going to back-to-back here. They are at home, though, so it's not really a crazy back-to-back, but they got the Sky coming to town. Sky have been playing a lot better over the last 10 days, or over the last couple of weeks. Angel Reese has been spectacular. And the Lynx, they need to keep winning. 16-2, obviously, but if they want to stay at the top of the food chain, they need to keep dropping some dubs. And Afisha Collier has back-to-back good games after a couple stinkers. It seems like that back injury is doing okay. Maybe this is a situation where you need to pay attention to what we're going to happen, what we're going to see with Collier news later in the day. I don't know if a back-to-back situation with that back injury could be a reason they sit her in this situation. I don't think so. We're seeing lines for her. It is still a 13.5-point spread. I don't think it would be 13.5 with no Collier. So, but boys, I'm keeping it nice and chalky here. And I'm not overthinking this. I'm taking Angel again. Over 30.5 PRA. She has shellacked this line in 5 straight games. She's had great games against the Lynx. She hit this with ease against them last time. I'm just going to keep taking this until she slows down. Maybe she just keeps rolling with this. I love the RA at 16.5, but it was too juiced. It was like minus 140 almost. So I just went for the PRA. She's probably going to score. She had the last game against this team, which was last year. So you got to take that into account. You know how many rebounds she had in that game?
17.
She had 19 boards in that game against this team last year. And pretty much the same Lynx roster that we see this season. So not a whole bunch of changes there. She absolutely dominated this team on the glass. She's had 16, 18, 17, and 19 rebounds in her last 4 games. The rebounding prop is nice. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be running to bet that today. She is due for a no rebound game with what we've been seeing. But I don't know, man. The 16.5 RA feels comfortable. She had 7 assists in their last game against that Sparks team. This Lynx team is good defensively, but I don't know. I'm just going to keep rolling with the wagon here and taking her PRA and not overthinking it.
How do you feel about just the assists or plus money?
I like it. What's the line? 4.5?
Just 3.5.
Oh, yeah. I like it. I mean, again, this Lynx team is good defensively, so you got to hope that some of the Sky players can knock down some shots, but I don't hate it. I think if I had to choose, Sook, I would go RA because she's probably going to get 12 to 15 rebounds unless you just, I don't know, something weird happens. But the reason why we've seen this usage uptick with her, especially rebounding, is because Cardoso's not on the team right now. She's with Brazil. So all those rebounding opportunities that she wasn't getting when Cardoso was in the lineup, because Cardoso's a good rebounder too, are all going to Reese. And so when Cardoso comes back, we're probably going to see that regress back to the mean a little bit. So I think you got to kind of take advantage of anything, Angel, right now until Cardoso comes back, especially in a good matchup or a bad matchup against the Lynx. So, yeah. Sauceman, you got any thoughts on this game?
I got a couple of more questions if you'll
Sure.
entertain me. Kayla McBride, her threes are sitting at 2.5, but the points at 14.5. She's hit that line in 2 of her last 3 against the Chicago team. The last time she didn't hit it, she only played 28 minutes. For me, it's a fear of a blowout here. The Chicago Sky have been good. They have been getting blown out. Angel Reese has been much better. But is this a situation where like the spread is kind of telling us that this one might be ugly, or is it just
14 is crazy. You guys touching that 14?
Not for the Lynx.
Yeah.
Especially on a back-to-back.
And we're seeing 82% of the handle on 14.5. Like there's big money on Chicago Sky right now with the points. So if this game does stay relatively close, do you think Kayla McBride at 14.5 points feels kind of valuable? Because it feels like the only time she doesn't hit is in blowouts.
She's coming off a bad shooting. Again, I watched most of that Valkyries game because I was sweating out a parlay. And I like watching the Valkyries and I like watching the Lynx. So it was a good game. But she didn't really shoot very well. I want to say 3 of 10. Only hit 2 threes. Didn't really shoot. She played good minutes, but she didn't really have a good offensive game. So she's due. And this Sky team lets it up, man. They really are not good defensively. So I like it, V. It's definitely a good plus money spot. You can maybe look at her threes. You said the threes you like the best, right? Or do you want the points?
I was thinking about the threes being at 2.5 kind of scared me off a little bit. It's also because she hasn't hit this line very often, just 3 times in her last 10 games. And like you said, she's been shooting kind of poorly. But I don't know. 2.5 didn't feel as valuable at -110, whereas the 14.5 points at +100 felt a little bit like maybe I'm just greedy, but it felt a little bit more enticing. I honestly liked it because how bad this Chicago defense has been on the perimeter.
Yeah.
While I'm looking at the numbers here, 13th in 3-point percentage allowed, 13th in threes allowed, 13th against guards, or 12th against guards, sorry. So maybe Kayla, maybe somebody else? Is there anyone else on this Lynx team that you would target?
I like Courtney Williams a lot. She burned me yesterday with her PRA, but it's 2 points higher than it was yesterday because of how bad this Sky team is defensively, and she's had really good games against them previously. She's going to have the ball in her hands a lot. Great facilitator. If I would go anything for her, I'd go the PRA, like I mentioned, 22.5. She had 10 assists, 3 boards, and 14 points against this team last year, and then the game before that against them last year, 22-8 and 22-6 and 3. So. I mean, also, I have just kind of a bad taste in my mouth about how she burned that parlay for me yesterday when it got so close. So maybe that's why I want to circle back and take it again, because I could totally see her going off today after I needed her to do that yesterday. So I like it. I also think Nafisha's in a good spot. If she ends up playing in this game, like she should dominate this team. But the one thing about the Sky, though, they are good defensively down low. They are good on the glass, and they're good defensively in the paint. Usually they get beat by, as you said, like shooters and in other spots. So Collier is a good play, I think, as well, if you want to go kind of chalky. But Courtney Williams would probably be my favorite if you really wanted to take somebody to score against this team, kind of overall beat the Sky team.
And does the back-to-back like scare you guys off? Any props here for the Lynx? Just because they maybe don't play as many back-to-backs in the WNBA from what we've seen?
It definitely concerns me about Collier, especially with the back problem, because I would assume, well, again, maybe we find out later she's not going to play because of the back-to-back. But it seems like she's fine over the last few games we've seen her now. But a back problem can flare up at any point. And on the back-to-back, then, who knows what that could look like. So that would be my only concern about putting like her in parlays and stuff, just because maybe she plays 10 minutes, there's a little bit of a back soreness, and she sits the rest of the game, or she just doesn't play, period. So that'd be my only concern.
The thing I find interesting here is the Sky have been off for an entire week. They haven't played since last Sunday against Vegas, and they've been on the road. That's another thing. Like maybe they probably went home in between with this like long week off. But how often is it that you see a team that's had a week off playing a team on the second night of a back-to-back? Now, is this a rust situation? Because that's what we would think when the NBA playoffs kind of come about and everyone's thinking about long extended periods of rest. How are you guys approaching this in the WNBA here?
Interesting you say that, because yesterday the Lynx played the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie hadn't played in 7 days. So it was the exact same situation. The Lynx weren't coming off a back-to-back, but the Lynx have also played like 3 or 4 games in the last 5 days. They had the Commissioner's Cup final on Tuesday. They had another game midweek, I think, on Thursday. And then they had that game last night. So they've played 4 games in like 6 days. And as I said, the Valkyries last night are in the exact same situation as the Sky are right now coming into this game after a week off. And the Valkyries pushed them. I think the Valkyries covered. I think it was 9.5.
Yeah, it depends on the number that you got, but like some people covered one way, some people covered the other way.
Interesting. Yeah. But I could see there being a situation where maybe the Lynx are starting to feel a little bit of this grueling stretch that they've gone through now. And maybe this guy come in fresh, and I don't know. So it's interesting you say that, because I was just thinking, I was like, oh shit, we just talked about this yesterday with the Valkyries. So it's exactly the same situation. So we'll see if the back-to-back situation adds another flavor to that. So
sweet.
Cool. All right. Well, there you go. There's a lot of bets for you guys today. We talked all about the WNBA. We talked about some NBA news as well. We gave you a play on the Diamond as well. Go check out all of our content as always. Shaggy's got some plays for you guys on the pitch today in the Club World Cup, and also in the Gold Cup final between the USA and Mexico. That's going on today. We'll have some scribbles on that for you guys at bettingnews.com if you want to go peep that and get involved with some soccer today. And then Shags also just wrote about the Sunday night baseball between the Cubs and the Cardinals if you want to get involved with that as well. There's some MLS action today too. Lots of stuff to bet on today. Some of it we didn't talk about on the show, but as always, you can go peep the scribbles for free at bettingnews.com to get involved with what we got going on over there. All right, boys, come to the end. It's been a fun time as always. What do you guys? How do we want to do this for the parlay? I feel like we all can get down. We're gonna do Kurtz. Chat made a good suggestion. V, are you down to do the HRR for Kurtz?
Yeah, I saw that. I am down to do that. I was also gonna say, do we just want to do instead of that, just take what's her name? Sorry, from the Aces for 2+3s.
If you can remember her name, we'll take it. Come on, let's go.
Jewel Lloyd. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Jewel Lloyd. But should we take that instead?
We can do both. I mean, we're going to need, because I want to do Morrow so bad, but again, she's not available right now. So
all right, let's do both, but let's take the HRR then. I'll take the bases in my parlay, chat, because I'm confounded by the thing, but definitely take the -125 on the HRR because way better value. He's got some big hitters coming up after him, and he's got guys that get on base consistently up in front of him. So you get that kind of dual threat of him hitting an RBI or getting run in off somebody else. So take the HRR for sure.
Okay, -125, and then Lloyd for 2 3s. You guys down to roll with Angel?
Yeah.
Yep.
Reese.
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's go Reese PRA.
30.5.
Let's take the 30+ for -160, just to cut the hook. So 30+ PRA for Angel. Man, Morrow would just be the chef's kiss to finish this off, but we ain't got it. So do you have anything that you want to add in here with those last 2 WNBA games? We can maybe dabble in something NBA Summer League related if you want.
Do you have your second MLB play of the year?
I don't. I was gonna say, and I don't want to mess around with this being Summer League play in this, but I do think there's spots to attack, like Jackson Rowe for 15 points on the Warriors. I don't know. I don't want to put a Summer League in here.
It's also hard because you can't bet it everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, man, I wish the books weren't scary and were giving us Morrow stuff. That would be nice. But they ain't.
Not even the rebounds, eh? Like you'd think they'd give us one thing.
Nothing. No points, no rebounds. Her PRA on a DFS app is 18.5, which feels free. If it drops like that on the books before this game starts, to finish off what we talked about, I'm nuking that.
Yeah, all that responsible betting we talked about at the beginning of this, out the window if we get 18.5, chat. I'm just
nuking. Hey, we could take. I do really like Courtney Williams in the Lynx Sky game. I like her.
She took 8 threes last night, man. 8 threes,
brother. I needed 5 more PRA to cash my plus 2,500 parlay I posted on the timeline, and she shot like absolute dog shit and finished with 20 PRA.
Oh,
you cashed his out though on half of it. That was nice.
I know. Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool, dude. De'Erica Hamby got her last 2 assists in the last 2.5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Sometimes
Insane.
people just want it more, man. And those are the guys I want to bet on, not the Luis Ortiz's of the world.
Same. Although you bet on Malik Beasley a lot last year, but he needed it even more.
Hey, I bet him in the year he was betting on himself, not against himself.
Hey, man, what
sure.
a year to bet on him. V knew, chat. This is where we find out that V knew all along. Yeah. All right, let's take Courtney Williams, 22.5 PRA. I'm ready to go down with the ship again. Plus 704. So Jewel Lloyd, 2 threes. Nick Kurtz, 2+ HRR. Angel Reese, 30+ PRA. Courtney Williams, 23+ PRA. That is plus 704 if you'd like to write it out with us and sweat us out on a beautiful Sunday. Big vibes. And as I said, our friend Mid-Major Matt will be dropping 25 doll hairs on this bad boy. And if he smacks, he will be donating it to the Twitch channel, and then some of it will go to one of you guys right now from the Duckies. So, yep, there's that look on Slick's face, the look of regret and shambles of having to pull up his favorite website.
Every time he has to pull up the Duckies, he looks at his resignation letter in his documents first. It's like, is today the day?
It's always in the drafts, boys.
It's always in the draft. There's 2 things that trigger it: either the Duckies or killing a parlay. Those are the 2 things that'll have that letter sent out.
All right, we ready for the Ducks?
It gets the vibes moving. Yeah. Drop a dub in the Twitch chat. If you're watching us anywhere else, you will not be entered in the giveaway, but that's okay. Yeah, you've been with us the whole time, and we appreciate that. Lots of viewers today. Big vibes on a Sunday to finish off the holiday weekend. Huge vibes. All right, so pull it up. Let me get the vibe. Let me get the tunes queued up here too. Bing, bong, bang. If you're also, chat, we don't say this a lot, but just as a reminder, if you're really feeling frisky and you hit a parlay, we help you cash out on some stuff over the last couple of weeks. If you like the vibes, you can also support the channel by dropping a sub in our Twitch chat. It really helps us to grow the channel and continue to bring you guys all the goods. So if you're feeling so frisky and you want to drop a sub, feel free to do that as well. We don't require it. Obviously, the content will always be free, but helps us out. Okay, ready?
Count me down.
1, 2, 3.
Owen.
Mute myself before I start singing along. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, tap that button. Tap it. Oh man, look at that.
I'm
All right,
drinking,
here, race
I'm
move.
mixing everything that I see in front of me. You get me
race.
higher, so higher. C'est la vie.
My boy, what?
My boy, what? That boy, what? That boy, what? Congratulations, that boy, Watt. I think you were here from the very beginning. Let's go, Watt. Appreciate you. Are you JJ Watt? If you are, congrats on a great career. If not, that boy. Let's go. So what will happen is if our friend Mid-Major smacks the parlay today with his $25 investment, which you will get something from our store. So be on the lookout if the parlay smacks today. Obviously, tail it if you want to as well. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen so you can cash in doubly. And if we smack today, you'll get something from our store. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for stopping by, as always. Boys, great Sunday. Saucy Sunday vibes are back. Good stuff all around. Thank you, Sook, for getting through. You did a great job, man.
I made it.
Go to bed now. You did. You made it. Good job. Thank you, Sauce Man. Thank you, chat, for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Normal vibes going into the week. We'll be back. Being myself and Shags will give you guys the moves from the weekend tomorrow on BetSpresso on the channel. Like I said, give us a subscribe, drop a like and a follow on the video. We're gonna have some more YouTube content. Go check out the winners and losers video on YouTube. Get our stuff of who we liked and who we didn't like in the NBA offseason. Get involved with all of that. Yeah, have a day out there, boys. You got anything else before we get out of here?
Skylar's got a 3. Let's get one more. And let's have a Sunday, boys. Let's go into next week with a little bit more coin in our pockets.
Feel good about it.
100%.
Feel good about it. You guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out right here on the Betting News Network, brought to you by our sponsors at BetOnline. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Sunday. We will catch you on the next one. Take it easy, chat.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
Riding in the deep.
Down in the deep.
Now I know y'all be loving this shit
What
right
you know
here.
about rolling, rolling, rolling,
What you gonna do?
rolling, rolling,
What you gonna do now?
down in the rolling, rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit.
What you know about